Today we're going to talk about connecting Power Apps to Power Automate with simple to follow screenshots. This is all part of a larger book called Dynamic Reporting Connecting Power Apps and Power Automate. And you can go to Gumroad. I believe the PDF version is $2.99. So look for the reference number here at Gumroad, or you can buy a hard copy at Lulu, Barnes & Noble, etc. So we've talked about this, and you can see the video references and what we've already talked about in other videos. So if you just search, for example, the setup screen, if you search Google for that right there, you're going to find that video, and it's going to walk you through setting up those drop downs and doing all the other stuff that we're doing here. Let's see if we can get that. All right. Same thing with Power Automate reports. You can see right here, HTML, setting up the HTML, Power Automate, all that stuff. Right now we're here on Power Apps connecting it together. This is really where the rubber hits the road. We've already validated with our Power App right here. We have validated that all of this works, and now all we got to do is plug it in. So ultimately we can just ask a question here, say who's assigned, what's the email address, and have this information passed directly into Power Automate to produce the report. So very cool stuff. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is add a button here, and we can rename that button. So I've gone ahead and done that. Where are we here? Right there. So I've added this button here. Pretty simple to add a button. Just do a search right here for button. Okay? And add it. And then you're going to add this code right here. Okay, so remember, this is the name right here, DRP assigned 4. That's the name of the field right there. All right, selected.value. Okay, and then it's going to be text MS4. Now we're going to go through this again, but it's important to note at this point right here on this button. Notice how it says run text, comma, text1. And notice that it says text is DRP assigned, text1 is that. So where does this text and text1 come from? And we talk about this in the book here. Oh, we have to add the flow too. I'm sorry, I skipped. See, I should be looking at the book. To add the flow is pretty simple. You just go in here to Power Automate. You say add flow and you type it in. This flow is already added, so you're not going to see it in here, but it's right there, video sample. So you just type it in and click on it, and it adds it for you. Okay, pretty simple stuff. And you can follow the screens here. All right, so this is really the meat of this conversation, and really what you need to understand. This is the most difficult part of adding the Power App, and it's really not that difficult as long as you understand where the information is coming from. This represented here is the Power App itself with the code, and you can see the code here. This right here we're talking about is this that I showed you right here. When we look at this, see where it says run text and text1. But that may not make, and those are those two fields right here, but it may not make a lot of sense to you. You need to check inside of Power Automate. So to do that, we need to go to the Power App right here. Notice we have the parameters right here, which is the default screen, DRP assigned 4 and text assigned 4, which we have here as well. Doesn't necessarily have to be this, but that's what it is. Okay, right here, because we named them that, right here and right here. Now, just a word to the wise. On the old Power Apps, not version 2, it was very sensitive to these changes. So try to get this right to begin with. Although, having played with V2 for a little while now, it doesn't seem to be as sensitive. But anyways, we need to figure out, because it's calling for text1 and text. So we need to make sure that we're aligned. This is text, this is text1, but to make sure, we can look at the code and we can see right there, text equals this, text1 equals this. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward how it's going to line up. So when we type this in, we need to make sure that we understand where that connection is. Now, I've explained this in the book in a little more detail here. So A and B equal text1, this right here, and C and D equal text, excuse me, A and B equal text, C and D equals text1, which is the next one, okay? If you type them in differently, it's not going to work. You got to make sure that it works in alignment with what Power Automate is looking for, because remember, you're transferring data from here into Power Automate. So you need to make sure that it's right the first time. So, all right, so good stuff. So that's all you need to do. Here's the code again. Purchase the book for $2.99. You can get all this code and stuff and the screenshots, and then you just need to test the app. So we're going to go ahead and try our luck here, and we're going to go ahead and test this app. We're going to run it here, and we're going to put the email address in here because that's what it's asking for, at msn.com. Okay. I hope that's my email address. And we're going to go ahead and run the test. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit the button here to test this to make sure it works. So we're going to hit the button, and this is going to pull. Remember, it's going to pull all of the tasks assigned to Donald Duck, and it's going to send it to this email. It's already come in. Let's go ahead and double click and check it out. Sure enough, it came from me to me, right, to the email address that we put in right here, right? Okay. Donald Duck is the assigned, so it's tasks for Donald Duck, and then you can see Donald Duck's assignments. Pretty easy, huh? So that's really all there is to this. You need to test it and make sure it works right, but that's pretty much it from a coding perspective. So I hope this was helpful for you. Again, this is part of a larger book. So if you haven't viewed all the videos, it might be easier just to pay the $2.99 out here on Gumroad, and then you get the whole book, which gives you all of the cross references to the videos, and you literally just copy this and put it into a browser, for example. Now I just posted that, so I don't know if it's going to work or not, but let's go ahead and see. If we go to Google and we just put this in, let's see what happens. Okay. So it hasn't shown up yet, the video. I literally just posted it, so Google hasn't done that, but it will work. It does work very well. So anyways, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, this is the whole content of this video. For the next video, we're going to go ahead and talk about, we've talked about everything. We're going to dip down into some of these appendix, especially troubleshooting a filter, and if you want to just use Power Automate, we can do that one real quick while we're here. So you've created this, and you've created a flow to work with Power Apps, but can you just do this independent? And the answer to that question is yes, you can. So I can take my flows right here, just from flow, and I can say, hey, I just want to do that one. And I can just hit play, and the difference is, instead of it pulling data from Power Apps, it's just going to ask me what that data is. So I want to make sure I put this as something that I can understand, right? But here I'm going to put in Donald Duck again. And here I'm just going to put in my personal email to have the document sent to me, to have the report sent. And I can just hit run the flow, and then it'll have me hit done. And this can be done literally from anywhere. You can do it from the app, or you can download, and it works really well. You can download the app, and there's the report. You can download the app directly to your phone as well. So if somebody asks you, you're out and about, you go to your print screen, right, which would be within here, and you could say, oh, I want to print that. Boom. I just hit it and run it and send the information. So it's certainly a possibility. I think that's all I mentioned in here. Run the flow. So if you want to do that, that's certainly an option as well.